one of us. And even though we're going to consider different questions, and I'm sure coronavirus will come up and other topics that we have much charge about, stay centered and connected so that when we do come to do a meditation, we are right there, present, connected. The purpose of these chats, of course, goes beyond information. It is a process of global healing, which I'm sure we recognize is sorely needed at this time. And as we recognize, there is a lot of fear, there's a lot of panic, and we're going through massive changes. We've been speaking of this year as a time of incredible change, where we are needing to let go of the old structures, the old familiar patterns of our lives, whether they're physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and come into a new state of being. And I cannot think of anything more potent and significant than this particular pattern of the COVID-19. I don't think the earth could have produced anything so immediate and so powerful for us to change our consciousness, change our ways, even though this may have been, as some people say, manufactured in an laboratory. It doesn't really matter. The fact is, it's come into our lives. We have created it. We are co-creators of this. It's a time to learn the lessons for why it is here. And I'm sure you have meditated upon this and recognized many, many lessons. And if we can hold the position of seeing this as a great gift, because with every challenge, with every problem, comes a gift. And not only is this a gift to humanity, but it is for us a phenomenal gift to hold a field of love and light where there is no fear, that eradicates fear, that is the antidote for the human condition. And this is for us a remarkable opportunity because of our ability to provide the antidote for what is going on. I'm sure you all agree with me, right? It's a time where we are called and invited to go within. Not all of us are in quarantine or shut down, but many are on this call from Italy and other countries where we are forced to withdraw from the frenetic pace of life and find a place of stillness, a place of interconnection with our families. And for the first time in history, for a long time anyway, we have a common, you might call it an enemy, it's not really, but this is a war in a sense. But we are all in this together for one purpose. And this goes beyond politics, this goes beyond religion, goes beyond opinion, because it affects everybody, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, no matter what race you are from. And that is a phenomenal opportunity for us. And I'm really loving this process because we've got tools that we can transmit into the heart of humanity. Would you agree with me? And I'm sure some of you have been doing the sequence. I'd like to talk about the sequence. There are developments that I've I've seen it evolve and changes that I'd like to suggest to you in terms of using the sequence. We do have a number of questions. So about the coronavirus, the lesson, I'm sure we all have our own lessons. And I'm sure you've seen videos about the magnetization of this planet from the Spanish flu in 1918, at the advent of radio, and with each pandemic, there has been an increase in the electromagnetic field around the earth that has undermined our immune system, suppressed our immune system, and created an imbalance between the integrity of our cellular structure and the frequency of our cells, which we know is around 7.83 hertz. And we're now in frequencies that are way beyond. And that has opened an opportunity for something like this to affect us. Now, we know with Vortex from many years ago, this was foreseen in many ways, the need to balance the electromagnetic field of the earth, the need to balance our own electromagnetic field and come into harmony with the earth, with nature. Because there's a reduction of our carbon footprint on the planet. There's less pollution. There's less running around in ways that are totally abusive to nature and to the earth. So in many ways, for the earth, this is a gift. There are less animals being killed and eaten in different ways. So there are many gifts, but the main thing for us is to maintain our electromagnetic frequency in harmony with the planet. The purpose of Vortex from the outset was to harmonize, to come into coherence with the planet, bring us to the Schumann resonance, and so that we can function in wholeness. This is a new level of holism that is coming into play. And of course, to deal with fear. So we've come into a massive field of fear on the planet, for which I feel we are to provide an antidote. And as we know, is love. It's no mistake that Module 7 happened before this time to activate the power of love on the planet and in ourselves, and to open the mechanisms that are needed right now. Not feel fear and panic. It's really important that we acknowledge that it is there. It's part of the collective consciousness. We're not trying to suppress that. But through fear, we can open to a level of love that is as powerful as the fear. So when there is an antidote, you have to go to the opposite extreme. So what is needed from us is tremendous love and kindness and compassion into the collective field. I'm sure we all know what I've just been talking about. I'm sure we're all in agreement. And it is that agreement that goes out. Right? Are we all there? Thumbs up? Good. So, of course, the big question is, how do we strengthen our immune system? Well, we know one thing, that it is fear that weakens our immune system. So love and joy and lightness and light helps to strengthen our immune system. Of course, there are different techniques. I will send some of the techniques that I've discovered in this last while. Many people have provided information on herbs and homeopathics and a variety of things. But that is ineffective if we are in fear, because the cloud that hangs around the earth is very dark, and it needs our light into that. And those of you that have been doing the sequence, I'm sure, have felt the lightness that has come about. Have you felt that? Now, I want to give some suggestions as to the use of the sequence. I notice that many of you from the international WhatsApp group are doing it on the A3 chart. And that's all well and good, by the way, it works. But as you'll notice, the cards are clumped together, overlapping. And it is ideal, if it's possible, if you're able to get to a printer, to get a larger chart, which gives the cards some space to interact and to be on their own and to work. I know in Italy, Francesca, you've distributed a large chart, right? So if you could send that to us, to maybe to Elizabeth. I've been trying to do an A1 chart, but you can take the A4, the A3, and have them enlarge it. But I want to give those of you that have the mat another opportunity, which I have discovered just recently, that is extremely powerful. Of course, the most powerful is having it on the body. Who have you been able to do that and experience that? How has that been for you? Amazing, right? So, but for a long distance process, you can use the body. It's quite difficult to put it on yourself, although you can, and or put it on a towel and stick it on and put it over your body. But putting the cards directly, I think we should manufacture vests and t-shirts that have all the cards and you can walk around in them. But I have found particularly powerful is placing the cards directly on the mat. And I've developed, and unfortunately, this is for the mat. Those of you that don't have the mat, of course, use the chart, use the body. I have emailed you, Elizabeth, the pictures. I haven't yet put it on a chart with exact dimensions, but you can work it out from the photographs. And on the long distance logo, you can place all the names and all the people you want to transmit to, maps of the city. Absolutely, it will work on a mat. I know, Eleanor, you asked about this, and one or two others. We can work on a city. Now, it's difficult on the A3 chart where everything is piled on top of each other, but on the mat, you still have your long distance location. The cards have space to interact and to flow between one another. So please, if you cannot get a mat, get a larger chart. I've done experiments on the large chart as against the small chart. I don't know if any of you have, and the difference is really remarkable. So please experiment with that. Please do not believe anything I say. Just experiment with it, see how it works for you, give us all feedback. But that, to me, has been the most practical and effective way of working with the transmission, with the sequence. Anyone have any questions around using the mat?
Jeff, yes, I have a question. When you use the mat, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. When you use the mat, I have the photos of the sequence of the mat. So would you, I just need to understand, do you then lie on the mat yourself, or?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You can lie on the mat.
Or do you put the witness on the flower?
We put the witness on the flower.
Okay.
You can lie on the mat or just put your name on that.
Okay.
So it's going to work whether you lie on it or not. However, lying on the mat with those cards in position is extremely powerful. Now, what we must understand is that we are transmitting a field which I'm sure most of you have experienced. Number one, a very deep sense of peace and relaxation and calm comes about. Is that correct? And that is essential, because what's happening is we clearing the field, we pouring out tremendous light into the whole world. And that at the same time is building our immunity. Very, very important, the location of those cards. Each card has a very particular function in those locations. So you want to give each card space so they're not cramped. We need to maintain our oxygen levels. So any way you can maintain your oxygen level, it's the same as all our sequences. Use even E24 if you've done module 4. Keep your oxygen levels up all the time. And of course, there are many, many recommendations and homeopathics that are very useful. And if you want, I can send you my recommendations. I know a lot has been on the WhatsApp. And we're doing two things here. We are, in many ways, negating, taking the power away from, I feel this is a man-made organism. It doesn't really matter if you believe that or not. But we are really putting so much light into this. We're not, like everybody says, at war. This is important. We're not in a war. We are in a co-creative process that brings light into this particular condition. Is that clear? As we've done all the way along. Because the minute we go into the offensive, we are lost in that. And it brings up a certain amount of aggression and fear. So we are coming into a harmonization with this organism. And as a result of us welcoming this into our lives in a particular way, we have great power to radiate light into this field and to literally neutralize. We are the antidote. Do we believe that? And we have the tools to be that. And I'm sure we're going to see very soon there are places where things are coming into control. It's already beginning to happen. However, we are not trying to manipulate the cosmic purpose of this or global purpose. It might have a purpose to be around, and for people to let go of their old lives so that they can come into a new state of consciousness. So like working on an individual, we don't want to abort the process of the disease. Naturally, it's not the virus, it's the host. It's our frequency that allows this process to take form. And so if our frequency, our protection, our light, our boundaries are in place, it just doesn't allow it. Now, it doesn't mean to say we will not be infected. It might be that it's okay to do that. Some people will die. And of course, that brings up another issue, and that is letting go of life itself. So on the one hand is enjoying every moment of life and appreciating every moment, and our solitude and our space to introspect and to take time to do things most people haven't had time to do, to forgive our past, people in our past, to really bring love into this. Would you agree? And so let's take that time as part of the antidote. Let's introspect and look at our lives and see the gift, feel the gift that the universe has brought to us, and come into harmony with it. And let's dance with it, with joy rather than fear and panic and stress. And I mean, it's interesting how all of this comes to focus in toilet paper. So yeah, as in one sense, people are shitting themselves, but it's interesting how it shows up. And people in South Africa haven't gone crazy yet, but I know in many countries they've just gone absolutely wild. I'm sure in Israel, I'd hate to imagine what's going on with food, accumulating food sources. Right, Claire?
Don't go there with the food, Jeff, please. It's not. No, please don't go with the food issue.
I'm not touching it. I'm just trying to imagine with great joy. But everybody is really in most countries, because there is a need to provide, and there is a need to look at what we consume and how we consume it and how we take it in, so there's not this frenetic grabbing of substance. Because when we come into harmony with love, our own substance nourishes. In fact, the less we eat, the better. And maybe that's part of the purpose, so that our immune system can indeed be strengthened. So a few questions. Anything come up since we're online together? Roberta, I don't know if Roberta's here, from Bergamo, which is really the center of where things are happening. About 50 dead of the infected, continue to grow. Can we apply this new sequence to the whole city? Absolutely. So put names on. Must understand, if you have enough names from the city, they will be the representation of the city itself. But bring the map in. Very useful. Now, there's a question about the flow cards on water molecules from you, Claire. Absolutely. It works not just on water, it works on a number of elements, works on the air element, works on the water element. It's opening up electromagnetic flow in harmony with our bodies, that we are water, mainly water. Of course, it's going to change the structure of water, because the new virus, which, as you've seen in many YouTubes, which is connected to the electrification of the planet, whether you know, 5G, whatever, has a direct effect on the water molecule in the body and the cell, and of course the oxygenation. 5G duplicates the virus effect on the cell, that it depletes oxygen, it destroys the mechanism for oxygenation. So breathing at this time, the vagus nerve, maintaining the strength of the vagus nerve, is vitally important. The moment we go into panic, really, this is a time actually of serving, of giving, because panic takes us into ourselves. We go into survival mode, we go into very self-centered patterns based on my survival. We're dealing with a collective here, and the opportunity to interact and co-create, whether it's just vibrational. So the opportunity to send love to those that are exposed to these very potent situations, like in Bergamo in Italy. Each country, in fact, is going through this. Israel's going through this. South Africa, we're very lucky. It's just starting. So take the opportunity to emanate love to the doctors, to the nurses, to those that are sacrificing their lives and offering so much at the great sacrifice. So let's think of those that are supporting the system, right? I'm sure we have deep appreciation. It's the first time in history that there's a common goal. Scientists are working together and sharing information across political lines, across boundaries. Never before has this happened. It's happened in previous pandemics, but this is very powerful. So that cooperation is a metaphor for what we're needing to experience at this time. Any other questions? Pamela asked if you lie on it, you lie on the cards. Yes, so use white tack, blue tack, put them on the mat, put a blanket over it, lie on the cards, but just don't move them. Any other questions around using the sequence? Have you felt
I have
the
a
benefit?
question.
Yeah.
How would you use it's Stefano here. Hi.
Stefano.
How would you use it to balance a map? Like with a connector, you do the circle on the mat and you put the connector in the center or you just put the map on the mat.
I'm trying to get you. Are you talking about circles, using circles on the mat, or the sequence on the mat?
You said that you have the sequence that is adapted into a circle on the mat.
No, it's not a circle.
Right? Okay, so it's just positioned on the mat.
It's positioned on the mat in a particular way. Elizabeth will send you the email with photographs.
Okay.
So I can show it to you right now on the mat if you want to see it. You want to see it? So you'll get an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. So this is what it looks like. So you get an idea there are very specific locations where they are placed, and you stick them onto the mat with white tack, and you can lie on it. You can place the long distance witnesses here on the little long distance logo.
And in order to balance a city, so I would use a map. Would I put the map on the mat, or would I use a connector?
No, you put the map on the long distance location. Now, of course, if it's massive, if you've got a very big map, it can still be that, the focus of the mat. So you may want to find on the map with your pendulum where the heart center is, where the focus of it is, and place that on the center. So the map can sit over your mat, you've got that? And so you find where the focus point is on the map to place on the mat. Got it?
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question, Jeff, which, I mean, I don't know. If we have the cards on the mat, does it matter where we lie? Are we in the general energy that it's creating?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so you don't have to have the top one on your high weight.
No,
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Now, I don't know if you saw, is anyone from Sweden here? Anna, Peter, who sent that picture with the lamp? With the light from the lamp, did you see that?
Yeah, you mean the video?
Yes.
The video.
One of the Sweden students, she filmed the sequence, yes.
Right. Because
amazing.
there was a voice behind that wasn't getting excited or anything, and I was wondering why they even videoed that in the first place. But was it television or what was behind?
Yes, it was television.
Okay.
And Maria, she felt it before it must be, yeah, I mean, previous with the circular tree of life or something, that she has felt some light. So she wanted to test this time what is happening, because she had a sense in herself from the beginning.
Right.
So she filmed it, but unfortunately the television was in the back and so on.
I didn't hear her excitement saying, my goodness, look at but it was phenomenal, really.
Yeah,
and that's what I feel and sense that is emanating when we do that. Any other thoughts around that? Any comments about the sequence? Your own experience, Nirit?
Yeah, when I want to put children on the map with the sequence, do I put the sequence on the map at the same size that you did it, or it's better to put it on their body according to their size?
Yeah, if you can do it on their body, that's great. So
but if they move, if it's stable, it's difficult because they want to move, especially when they are small.
Right. So that's why for children, if they're small and want to move, it's not practical to put it on their body. Put the cards on the mat and have them lie, or put their hair witness on the mat and they can play. Now, there's a question here from Emanuela. Could we use a folded map on the chart on the mat? Absolutely. So the map carries a particular pattern. So we can fold the map. Maybe fold it in a way that the key part of the map is exposed. So it's the focus point. Any other questions? Any other personal experiences with the sequence?
If I may, it's Renat again, and it has nothing to do with food. It has to do with the sequence. I've noticed, I've started like an hour after we got the sequence. I've noticed that at the beginning there was like insecurity, and I got a permission only to do it on my close family. At the beginning, only at the mat, at a big chart, and then it got grown. And now I have more than 200 people. And the first time I did it on the body, it was a lot more stronger. I felt very, very secure. I'm very, and I'm spreading it out, and I'm talking because I want people to do it, even if they don't, even if they have less cards, because it feels like it is the antidote and the answer. And I would love to thank you, Jeff, for everything, every word that you said, not because I believe, because I felt it. And thank you.
Thank you.
That's my experience, and I did it on kids, Nirit. They're, even if they're moving, but now with the solution of the cards, it's going to be better. And I did it on kids. Now we're going to quarantine, so it's going to be only from a distance. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you, Rena.
I've got another question, Jeff. I've been leaving names on the sequence overnight for a couple of days. Is that okay? Will it still be working? Or is it better to do it for a period of time, break off, do another bunch?
You mean if you have a lot of names, to alternate the different names? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or does it matter? I mean, when I'm doing it on people, interestingly, it's usually about 6 to 8 minutes.
Right.
But I've been leaving the sequence with a lot of names on overnight.
Absolutely fine.
Yeah. Okay.
It will work on those people for as long as it needs to, and then it stops working.
Okay.
And then when they go into stress and interfere,
Yeah.
it'll work on them again.
Yeah.
And then other names might be more active.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're presumably going
Jessica,
different levels of weakness, next levels of weakness.
right.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Claire, you had a question?
Yeah, just something that I wanted to share, that I've been working with the sequence for the past week. And I also have a chart that I leave for, I've been leaving it for a few days now. Today I was instructed to, in addition to all the names I have on that chart, to also add a circle. It could have been a tree of life as well, but I was instructed to use a circle. So kind of a little bit overlapping the big chart where I have the sequence. I added the circle that I wasn't instructed to activate, and it was centering. So just to reinforce the sequence.
Yeah. Wonderful. That's fine. Yeah, whatever comes up. Now, not everyone's got a mat. So, but I'm sure everyone's got a chart of some sort. And if you're missing a flow card, a set of flow cards, you can do them alternatively. So I think there has been instruction on the international chat how to do that. So everybody can do it with what you've got. Now, what I'd like to emphasize here is this has been given to us. This is not a fabrication of my mind saying, wouldn't it be nice to have a sequence? And what can we do about it? It's taken some time to build up to this, and it's literally given to us by the team, and with the proviso that we open ourselves to the team, because this situation cannot be dealt with at a physical, mental, emotional level. Even between ourselves, it requires a higher order of universal love and support. And so as we do the sequence, of course you're not going to hold that, for days on end, but put out the intention that we are doing this with the universal team. You could call it the universal love or the life alignment team, whatever, that we opening a pathway, a vortex for intercession, support to come through, which is way beyond the power of the mat and the cards. It is simply using the tools that we have as a focus point, as a catalyst for bringing great light into the situation. Can you understand that?
Yeah, Jeff, this is Inga. Can I say something quickly?
Yes, Inga.
I
Nice to see you.
also, yes, hello everybody, and it's so wonderful to see you all. I work with the mat and the sequence a lot all this time, and it's interesting. I also had usually 6 to 8 minutes. I was instructed to keep it on somebody who was physically on the mat. But I also meditated a lot next to this sequence, sitting next to the mat and meditating for an hour or half an hour or something like that. And I felt really this vortex. I felt this circling energy, and my whole upper body. I was sitting on my chair with the seat, your seat with these additional cards, right?
Mm.
I was just moving. My whole upper body was like the whole Kundalini energy was coming through me and then going back down again. It was crazy. So this is what I'm doing in addition also, and I love it. So thanks, and I hope I'm putting the energy, the right intent into this meditation and into the sequence.
Thank you for that. While I was bringing through the locations, because it's a simple sequence, we do this all the time when we're doing sequences on people. Common location, we put the card on, that can take 5 minutes. But this process took me a good couple of days, actually even longer than days, because as I was bringing through the sequence, I went into such an amazing state of being. It was like phenomenal. And it was already coming through just by writing down the locations. And then when I actually did the sequence, it was amazing. So I feel it is a gift. The words that are coming up for our meditation are very, very simple. The manifestation is support. And the word that is coming up for that is surrender. So we work with these simple words. They seem simple all the time. It's surrendering to the process. We're not fighting with it. We're surrendering to the intercession that is coming at a different frequency, so that it can bring the newness at a far greater rate than if we just let the thing evolve and people die and so on. In other words, it's accelerating our ability to learn from this. We know this in doing a life alignment treatment. We're accelerating the evolutionary, the transformational process of people. Right? Makes sense? So this is accelerating the rate at which we can transcend all of these deep emotions of fear, of survival. We've been speaking of, you know, the end of the days and a variety of ways, apocalypse and all sorts of things. And this, in a sense, it is. It's an extinction. We've gone through several extinctions over the many thousands of years. We have the cellular memory of extinctions. And so because we have that, it awakens fear from thousands of years of extinction, of life being threatened. And it's important to be aware of this, because this may not be our own amygdala, you know, just screaming, and the hippocampus and so on, and the sympathetic nervous system. This is deep cellular memory that's being awakened. And we need to be aware that this is not just our own stuff, but it's stuff that we're healing for generations, our whole ancestry. So I would like to do these talks more than once a month so that we can meditate together, maybe once every 2 weeks. Is that all right for you?
Even a week, yes, please.
In a week. So, because this is such an opportunity. So I'm fine for next Tuesday, the 24th and the 31st, if we stick to Tuesdays. Is that all right for you?
Yes.
Same time? Okay. So, Elizabeth, that all right for you? So we'll do
Yes,
it
I was
next.
just looking, it's fine. That works fine.
Next Tuesday. Please do the cards on the mat. We can share information around that. And of course, check if there are other tools needed. The mat in itself is self-sufficient and sustainable. So let's come into a quiet place and feel the presence of the team. Of universal love. And breathe. Become aware of the oxygen molecules entering our lungs, filling the spaces within our lungs. And bringing in with oxygen light. So we can visualize our lungs lit up, emanating light. And feel how that interacts with our heart. So the heart is being fed with oxygen and light, which then move into every part of our body, so that we become light and love. And let's open our hearts to thankfulness. For whatever stimulates that, but if nothing, just to this amazing family. Loving, supporting, holding. And eventually out to the family of mankind, humankind. Grateful for this incredible opportunity that is coming to us. Accelerating what we have been attempting to do through individuals all along, to bring change of consciousness, and recognize that we are doing it with each other and with an immense team of beings that are supporting this process. And let us imagine this field of love that is spreading wide. Coming into contact with the virus floating around in people, in the air. And shocking it with love. Neutralizing any malintent to destroy. Coming into harmony with it. But as we do come into harmony with it, and bring the power of love, which is more powerful than the virus, it then has to surrender. And then we become together, supported, held. Collectively, we become the antidote for anything that is against life itself, against the planet, against nature. So we come in as an army would come together in coherence, in agreement, with enormous power. You've got the forces of water, you've got the Navy, you've got the land forces, you've got the air forces, and the space forces, all working together. And we surrender and let go of life as we've known it, all the comforts, all the habits, all the patterns, so that we can flow. And this is where the flow cards come into it, because it opens up the flow that breaks down stuck patterns, habitual patterns. And we are delighted to do that. We are not resisting change. We are the change makers. We are the change. And we celebrate change with gratitude and with love. That spreads across the planet. And in that flow and that surrender, there is great upliftment and great joy. Gratitude for the army of people that are serving in hospitals in the field. And we support them in our service to humanity. The wonderful opportunity we have to now work long distance, as if everything has been planned for this time. Let's feel that privilege and gratitude. Gratitude to those people that hold this family together, teachers, coordinators, students, all of us. And there is joy. And laughter. And dance. It's bringing out so much creativity. So much art is being expressed. The Italians are singing from the balconies, each one in their way. And so we are deeply connected one with the other, even though it seems as if the situation is separating us. It is connecting us. It is bringing a sense of oneness between us with all of life. Because suddenly we have one purpose together in cooperation. And we are held by the team. We're held by life itself, by love itself. And let us feel the gratitude and love for each other as we hold the matrix of love across the planet. We are not alone. So I want to thank you all from the depth of my heart for what we share, what we have together. And celebrate in the tremendous opportunity for really doing the work. This is our testing ground. Which transcends all opinions, all politics, all everything. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So our time has come to an end, but we'll continue to hold the frequency. Continue the work. Continue to love yourself and each other. Love ourselves. Ciao, ciao. It's been a privilege and a pleasure. So we'll see you all in a week.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
We'll
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff.
Grazie, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you. Grazie. Thank you, Jeff.
Toda. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Jeff.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Thanks,
thank you in
Jeff.
Thank you.
Swedish.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Tack.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Jeff. That was beautiful.
Grazie, Jeff.
Grazie, Jeff.
Come on, we need some
Gracias.
Swedish thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Tack från Norge.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Dankjewel, Jeff.
Grazie, Jeff.
What crazy family we have, eh?
Jeff da Silvestro.
Sending love to the
Absolutely.
Italians too.